One of my favourite ways to make gold in World of Warcraft is by crafting and selling past expansion Transmog items. So today we're going to take a look at an item from all the way back in the Burning Crusade. But firstly, let me introduce myself. My name's Manthius and I've been making gold for over 10 years in this game at this point. Most of it I've made by some simple crafting and some smart use of the auction house. Our aim here on this channel is really simple. We want to make gold making fun and give people realistic expectations. So let's dive straight in. The planning and the testing for these videos is usually streamed live. Now we stream over at twitch.tv/Manthius. Pop over, say hi, and we'll all have ourselves a good laugh. The Discord community is also growing really quickly, and all the members are now starting to pitch in with their ideas and sharing their goal making tactics. So it's a really good place to get going if you're just starting out with goal making. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Today we're going to be talking about the Windslayer wraps. Now this is a leatherworking pattern that is not learned from a trainer. It is not learned from a rep grind. It is truly a world drop pattern, and this is one of the crucial reasons to why this item is actually so valuable. Now the Burning Crusade, it's not been current content for over 10 years at this point, leaving very few people who still play the game from back then who even have this pattern, and now even less of those people are actually listing it on the auction house. But so Manthius, how do we get this pattern? What does it cost to craft? And more importantly, how much should we expect to sell this item for? Well, don't worry, we're going to break it all down. In the next 6 to 8 minutes, you'll know everything that you need to know to be able to make loads of gold with this item. So we already know that it's a world drop pattern. So how do we go about getting it? Well, the lucky ones of us out there that have a spare bit of gold about them can just head straight to the auction house and purchase it. But expect to see it listed for anywhere between 20 to 60,000 gold, depending just how greedy the goblins are on your realm. That is, of course, if it's even there at all. But if you don't have the spare gold, is it possible to farm this? Short answer, sort of. But we are going to need to be efficient with our use of time here. This has a very, very small chance of dropping from almost any enemy out in Outlands. So we really want to be killing as many mobs as we can in as short a time as possible. Preferably with the chance of getting something else that's valuable, even if we can't get the pattern itself to drop. Since we're looking at a leatherworking pattern, why not increase our collection of patterns by running some easy dungeons? The Shadow Labyrinths, the Escape from Durnhold, the Black Morass and Sethic Halls, they each have a chance to drop a styling hat. These hats are also relatively valuable. If you want to see a similar video on how to make gold with those patterns, remember to leave a like, hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below with the word styling and I'll make sure to get straight onto it. So now we've got the pattern. We either bought it from the auction house, or we did some farming and we were lucky enough to get it to drop. So let's take a look into it in a little bit more detail about what we're going to need to make this item. This is a pair of gloves. It's going to take 4 pieces of heavy knothide leather, 12 pieces of wind scale, 18 primal earth, 8 primal air and 1 primal nether to craft. Now some of these materials are much easier to come by than others. The primal earth, for example, is gathered more often than not when people are out there doing some mining, and with its very limited uses it tends to be incredibly cheap on the auction house. You should also probably look at picking up your primal nether from the auction house while you're there, because that's also usually very cheap. But there's 2 materials on this list that are usually the most expensive ones, and that is going to be your wind scales and your primal air. Now the wind scales, these can be relatively easily farmed. Head over and kill some of the Elysian Dragonhawks in Shadowmoon Valley. You only need 12 for the pattern and it should probably only take you 10 to 12 minutes to gather these up, but consider skinning a little while longer. You want to give yourself some spare materials for next time you need to craft this, and worst case scenario you can always throw them up on the auction house to make a bit of extra gold. Primal Air can actually be comboed with this. Just east of where we were skinning for the wind scales, you can actually kill the enraged air spirits. Yes, these will also drop you motes of air, which in turn, when you get 10 of them, can be converted into the primal air that we need to craft the item. Now for the testing of this video, I went out and farmed both the wind scales and the primal air needed, and it took me around 40 minutes to do this on a druid. So if you assign a single hour's worth of farming, it should probably be enough to get all of the items that you need for a single craft with a few spare materials left over. Now it is important to remember though that if you farm for your materials, that does not make them free. you are still spending time gathering them, and if you were to not craft them, your other option would be to sell them raw at the current market price. So let's remember this when we run some numbers real quick. Our final crafting cost should look something a little like this. A rough estimate here of 8 to 10,000 gold in terms of material cost, but it's always, your prices may vary, but at the time of recording this there was 99 of these items listed on the EU realms, ranging anywhere from between 20 to 50,000 gold, while over on the NA realms there was only 42 listed with a slight increase in price between 40 to 70,000 gold. Now as you can see, it doesn't take a maths wizard to work out just how much profit you can be making from these. If you keep your crafting costs low, even if you choose to buy the pattern, you should still be able to make a tidy profit. Maybe not on the first one you sell, but the second one for sure. This though is Transmog, so don't expect them to sell instantly overnight. But this is the reason why I love to focus on crafted Transmog, because when it sells, you craft another and you profit again. Perfect. So there we go, boys and girls. This is just one of many past expansion patterns that can be collected, crafted and profited from. Now of course, this is probably not going to make you the millionaire if you only do this with this one single item, but by the time you've done this with 20 patterns, 50 patterns, 100 rare patterns, and you've got them all listed on the auction house, every day you're going to open your mailbox and be just that little bit richer than you were the day before. So, if you enjoy this kind of video and you want to see more like this, once again, remember to give the video a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.